Welcome back, everybody. We are the Offside Zone. I'm Richie, your host. We're back with some of the crew. We got Toby, Sam, and Oswald. This will be our 15th episode. We're going to jump right in. But today was a Champions League day where we had some good games. We see Man City advance to the quarterfinals, and Inter Milan also advanced to the quarterfinals today. But let's jump into the topics. The first topic of the day is who is one of the best players that never lived up to their hype / their potential. And who wants to start with this one?
I'll go ahead, bro. Yeah, just to keep things a little, fun. I'm gonna toss out Rubinho. Rubinho in 1999. He was supposed to be, 1999. Honestly, he was supposed to be the heir to the Brazilian throne. Came on the scene, tricks, dribbles, all of that. They wanted him to be a future Ballon d'Or winner, just like how Neymar was, prepped up by everybody that's Brazilian. But he came on the scene, got the commercials, got the good looks, even played for Real Madrid at some point, but the stints just never worked. He ended up coming to Man City when they started getting a little bit of money. That didn't work out. And then from there, he just became a nothing for real. He went from being compared to Ronaldinho and the rest of those guys up there, all the way down to the Brazilian leagues, and then just fading away. At this point, I think he's even hiding in a country because he's under some type of correctional crime or something. Like, I don't know what it is, but yeah, he's out of there. So
yeah. Last time I checked, wasn't he in like jail for like some like domestic issues or something? Like he was at like a nightclub or something.
Yeah, whatever it is, it shows that his career really went from high to low, like the bottom of the low. Yeah. So when I see the fact that he was the guy that they were sizing that did the step overs, like literally, like the commercials, the Nike commercials, all of that, he had all of that right up there with Ronaldinho at the time. So like when you see that, and then he goes all the way from La Liga Giants to Man City to lower league Brazilian team. It's basically like his career started in Brazil and then it ended in Brazil early. Like it regressed immediately after he got into stardom for the most part. So honestly, I don't want to say a failure, but he's one of the most hyped individuals that never reached their potential in the world of soccer for sure.
Okay. All right. Let me jump on this. The player that comes in my mind is Hatem Ben Arfa.
Ooh,
what a gem of a player, bro! What a gem of a player. Listen, he was propped up to be the best player, a generational player above Karim Benzema in that golden generation of young French players. Man, just on the eye, he was probably the second best dribbler you probably ever see, alongside Messi, because he was so elusive with the ball. Quick, agile, great decision maker, fast. He could finish. Oh my goodness. The goal I can think of is the goal where he scored it against that Newcastle run. Started off from the middle, all the way to the other side. He did that twice. And then when he went back to League after a bunch of injuries in France, in Newcastle, he came back up. He came back up. Played well at what team was he playing in? The team with the red and black. I forgot their name.
It might have been Nice.
Nice, yeah, Nice.
Yeah, Nice.
He performed at Nice. Like he one player of the season at Nice, one player of the season in France, and then from there transferred to PSG, and then everything went downhill. So
yeah.
He's the one player that I was so disappointed, but so talented. But hey, it's unfortunate.
I think for him, like most players, it was like a serious attitude problem because that guy was a phenomenal talent in terms of just like technical ability. The guy had the touch. The guy had the dribble. Like, the guy could dribble. It was like Mahrez on steroids. So, like, he could actually, like, dribble from length to length. And then, left-footed too. So, like, literally Mahrez on steroids. So, yeah, taller, could even score goals too. The guy had it all, but, like, his attitude wherever he went just said it all. Everybody that was managing him said that he was not a good trainer. He wasn't somebody that they want on a team because he had an ego. He thought he was better than everybody else, and he wasn't ready to work with everybody else too. So that was a huge problem. And when you add that to the fact that you go to a bigger club and then everybody else is basically as good as you, if not better, or at least close to the same level as you, it's not like you can just sit there and demand that I need to play, I need to be the best guy here. You have to earn it. So I think for him, he just never wanted to earn it. Like, he just wanted to be the main guy. And whenever he went to a bigger club per se, he lost value, especially when he was around other superstars. So yeah, he was able to shine at places like Newcastle and Nice because he was touted as the main guy. But whenever he went to bigger clubs, his attitude showed, and yeah, he just wasn't it at that point.
Yeah, I'm gonna add to the list another Brazilian player that I think doesn't get talked about enough. Alexandre Pato.
Ooh,
most talented players we've possibly ever seen in that Brazilian, back line.
He was nice, bro. Don't fake.
When he came to the scene originally in the U20 World Cup, I think he scored like 8 goals at that World Cup, and that was like his first like showing to the world that he was like the next up and coming Brazilian player. And he had a stint at AC Milan where he was like amazing for a few seasons. Like he was playing out of this world. He had speed. He had goal scoring ability. He could finish with both feet, with his head, and everything. I think he had some injury problems later on in his.
Oh, he had big injury problems.
Yeah,
he was one of the players that I think like he had an ability to be one of those great players, but never really lived up to it for whatever reason, for injuries and others.
Yeah, that was the real speedster.
Yeah,
coming out the Brazilian camp. I remember that one goal he scored for AC Milan. He just kicked and ran, scored, nice finish. The guy could finish. So, like, for him, I think the biggest issue for him, it wasn't his attitude. It was his injuries. The guy was just too fast for his own body.
Yeah.
He was just too fast for his own body. Like, he would get, like, hamstrings every other month, pull quads, all this, like. So, like, that weight on him. I think he even had a stint at Chelsea. He scored a couple goals.
Yeah.
Then, he made his living at Orlando FC and MLS. Shout out to the MLS. But, yeah, that's not – when you see that at a certain age, that's not where you –
That's not where he should have ended up for sure.
Exactly.
Another Brazilian I think of is even more disappointing than Pato, Adriano.
I knew you about to say that.
Come on. We all know Adriano. Come on.
There's a lot of Brazilian players that were like talented but didn't live up to the hype. That's
Hulk.
Oh yeah. Hulk.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. That's that guy actually blows because bruh, you spent your whole career, okay, you play in Russia, stuff like that, cool, like, but your nickname is Hulk, bro. Like, you could have been like one of the most marketable Brazilians ever. His nickname was Hulk because he would bully people and then thunder strike, like, and that was what he was doing. But like, he wasn't doing it in bigger teams. He wasn't doing it, on the real world stage where he's supposed to be. He took the money route, went to China, wasted his career. Oscar did the same thing. Yep. My goodness, like. If you want to be critical, you can say Neymar did the same thing with the money. So, but hey,
a lot of Brazilian people, man.
They just took the money.
All right, so moving on. So, it's a nice segue when you said Neymar. So, speaking of him, Can Neymar still win at least one Ballon d'Or by the end of his career? Oswald, what do you think about this?
I still think he can win. I still think he could win. He's only 30, 31 or 30, I believe. One of the two. But I still think he could still win it because this season, he had 18 goals this season. And I can't remember how many assists. He had a bunch of assists this season.
He had 17 goals, 17, I think, 16 assists.
Yeah, 17 goals, 16 assists in 25 games. That's ridiculous numbers. Those are ridiculous numbers. He's only 30. So I still see him playing at the highest level in the next 3 years. So I still think he could win maybe one in the next 2 years. So, hey, I still got faith in him.
Yeah, I think he can, but I think for him to win it, his best chance is to win something with Brazil. I would think, like a World Cup, which is still possible because Brazil have a great team, or a Copa America or something like that. Because at the club level, as long as he's at PSG, I don't really see him doing anything like significant to elevate him to the Ballon d'Or status. But I think with the team at Brazil, he has an opportunity. We have the 2026 World Cup coming up. Brazil's going to be one of the favorites at that competition too. You got to imagine that Neymar will be there. He will still be the captain and the best player. So he has a chance at that stage. But I don't see Neymar leaving PSG. And even more to that, I don't see him leaving PSG and going to a team that necessarily will be competing for the Champions League, because all those other teams seem to have players that are younger in those positions. So yeah, he can still win something, but he should do it with Brazil. I think that's his best chance. He got to win something with Brazil.
And that was another thing I was gonna ask. Like, if you guys do see him win, and where do you think he has to go as far as a club to where he'll have the best chance to win it? Because I don't see him winning it with PSG. I don't see them, because I feel like the criteria for him to win it at PSG is them getting a Champions League, and I don't see that happening.
Yeah, if he stays at PSG, it's a done deal. Yeah. Like, just bye bye with the dreams of Ballon d'Or for him. But I hopefully, and I want him to possibly still win the Ballon d'Or, because I think he can. He has the ability to do so, like Oswald mentioned. But realistically, we have somebody that's still trying to sit there and say, I want to play for PSG for the rest of my career. Realistically, we have somebody who just coming off his probably 4th or 5th major ankle injury in the last 4 years, that's going to require another surgery that's putting him out for the rest of the season. I think now the statistic for him missing games is about 55% of the total games he could have played for PSG. So realistically, we have an injury-prone Brazilian player who went to a team that requires you to win the Champions League or you're a bust, because we don't consider their league the most competitive league in the world. And then on top of that, you have a guy who's saying he wants to stay at PSG because he's getting paid 600K pounds a week or whatever it is. But yeah, 600K pounds a week. So we have somebody there who injury prone, needs to win the Champions League with a poor team that's set up to win one. And then you have a guy who wants to stay because of the money. So if he doesn't switch clubs, he has no chance of winning a Ballon d'Or at club level. And then we already know how hard it is to win a World Cup. So it's far and fetched in terms of his realistic chances, unless he critically makes decisions between now and the end of the season in terms of the club that he's going to go to. If I was to consider clubs that he could go to, like Sam said, I don't think there's many of them out there. But I feel like once you, as a player, especially a player in terms of the credible ability of Neymar, announces to the world that I'm a free agent, that I'm ready to leave PSG, you're going to see people going to make room for him because he's marketable and he's a talent. at the end of the day. So like you never know who he can go to, but who knows? Man City might come calling. Real Madrid might say, "Hey, this guy could be our next Figo." That's wild, but I'm saying they could be like, this guy's the next. Barcelona could be like, "Hey, what's up?" You feel me? Chelsea might be like, "Hey, Mudryk he's doing 007. Maybe we should get Neymar." You feel me? So you never know. When a player like that caliber announces his like need to leave a team, it's like the market is open for him. So you never know.
Yeah. I mean, we saw it with Ronaldo once he left UA. So, I mean,
he could have played in Man City. And that's Man U's direct rival. That's the point. You never know, bro.
Cool. So let's move on to the next topic. And this is going to be Benzema versus Lewandowski. Who's the better goal scorer?
That's
a tough one.
That's a tough one.
I got my answer.
I mean,
I got my answer. I mean,
goal scoring.
If
we're talking about goal scoring ability,
it's all on perspective, right? If we're just talking specifically goal scoring, Lewandowski's tops it any day. I'm sorry, he's won several top goal scorers in every pretty much for the past 8 years in the Bundesliga. So pretty much in terms of all around play.
Yeah,
Benzema, come on. We all know it's Benzema, but we all know it's Lewandowski.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Lewandowski for the better goal scorer. I think he has an ability to just score in more ways, and he's more he's just more versatile as a number 9 striker than Benzema. Benzema is more of he's gonna drop back, he's gonna create, he's gonna link up with players in the midfield. But for that, in that goal scoring role, that strict number 9 striker role, I think Lewandowski is definitely the better goal scorer, but by a little bit. But Benzema is definitely the better overall player for sure.
By far. I'm sorry, by far.
Yeah. Oh, you're not by far, but
by
Benzema.
Benzema's hold on.
Benzema's the better overall player, but it's not by far. That is
by far.
By far is extreme.
Individually, who has had a better career, Lewandowski or Benzema?
Benzema, but he played on Real Madrid as well.
He played on Real Madrid, bro.
You guys are tripping. I'm sorry.
And if you talk about individually, you take away if you talk about individually and you take away the Champions League's club team awards, those are team awards. You talking about individually. Lewandowski
about as a career, who's had a better career?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm putting in perspective. We already gave you Benzema got the better career because he played at Real Madrid. It's Real Madrid. But individually, you're looking at individual records, golden boots, top scorers, being the main guy. Lewandowski takes a cake in terms of that. When you look at a better outright goal scorer as well, I have to give it to Lewandowski because his knack and ability to finish goals, I think it's slightly better than Benzema's. I think recently it is now that we're seeing a more clinical Benzema, but like Lewandowski has been doing this for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So when you look at that, because before when we used to watch Benzema, he would have a couple chances and he would miss. Now, I would say for Benzema's defense in terms of goal scoring, I think like the way that he scores his goals, I think sometimes he actually scores more difficult goals. Like when I look at like kind of acrobatically, kind of like where he's getting the volley outside of his foot type of situation, I think Benzema slightly edges Lewandowski in that sense. But when you look at Lewandowski and just like when he's supposed to score, he always scores it. Like he's not gonna miss. That's my point. So clinical wise, I'll give it to Lewandowski, but overall as a player, I'll give it to Benzema.
And I mean that argument is closer than you think, Oswald, because Lewandowski he has a lot of individual awards himself, and it's debatable. You know, he should have won a Ballon d'Or.
Oh, he should have won it.
Yeah, so I mean,
literally outside of last year, if we went down the line in terms of Lewandowski's individual awards, it's probably more than Benzema's, to be honest, because Benzema has been playing the role behind Cristiano. You understand, for a majority of his career, so he wasn't winning the individual awards on us. He wasn't winning the Player of the Years like Lewandowski was. Lewandowski was winning Bundesliga Player of the Year, Team Player of the Year, Golden Boots, you can name it, and he got robbed out of that Ballon d'Or, if I'm being honest, and he would have won it before Benzema. That's the crazy part.
No, it's sure he would have won it.
Exactly. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I could play devil's advocate to that and be like, Lewandowski was playing in the Bundesliga or the Bayern Liga, but when we talk about goal scoring, his ability to score goals and just be in the right place at the right time is I would agree, it's just a little bit better than Benz. But it's not like a far off like debate. Like, it's close. It's close for sure.
That man scored 40 goals in the league. What are you talking about? Benzema's never scored 30 in the league.
Yeah, but once again, Lewandowski's playing in a league that is not really competitive like that.
Okay, Lewandowski is playing in the same league as Benzema, and he has more goals than Benzema. What are we talking?
Yeah, but that's Benzema's had injuries this season.
Okay, whose fault is that? I can't listen.
It's nobody's fault. What you gonna blame?
Listen, but you cannot disrespect Lewandowski. I'm sorry. Let me tell you this. If I'm rating Benzema and Lewandowski's career individually, right? If we're talking FIFA, okay, Lewandowski be like a 91, Benzema will be like an 88 or 89 at best.
What?
Yes.
I don't know about that.
Bro, what? Wait.
Okay, look.
The consistency, the consistency between Benzema and Lewandowski's been doing it for like 10 years straight. We're talking like top goal scorer at Dortmund, and he left Dortmund almost 10 years ago. Ever since he joined Bayern, he won top goal scorer every single year. In that league. And he was always amongst the top goal scorers in the Champions League. What are we saying?
Yeah. But Benzema has more Champions League goals, but that's because he plays for Real Madrid as well. Yeah. But I think the way that you're sizing the difference is astronomical. An 88 to a 91, maybe I say an 89 to a 90. Because if we're looking at the position of striker, obviously, if you're doing FIFA ratings, they're going to give Lewandowski a 90 because his finishing is slightly better. So he's going to be a 90. But in terms of Benzema, if you was to change his position, he probably would be the same 90 or better. That's my point. Benzema is even, and Lewandowski can dribble. Lewandowski can pass. He can do everything a player can do.
Lewandowski is third in the all-time Champions League goals. What are we saying?
And where is Benzema?
Benzema's number 4.
No, take a look at it. Take a look at it now.
Literally,
Karim Benzema has 76 goals in the Champions League.
I'm looking at it right now. In his career, Lewandowski is third. What are we saying?
We agreeing to the fact that Lewandowski is a slightly better goal scorer, though. We're just saying the difference between them as an overall player.
And he has far less appearances. From this stat, according to Wiki, Lewandowski got 111 games, 91 goals. Benzema, 147 games, 88 goals.
Okay.
What?
Okay. Benzema has 76 goals if you're not including qualifying. So like if you're not including the qualifying rounds, that means Benzema has been more critical outside of that. than
And you have to look
Lewandowski.
who he was, and you have to look who Benzema was playing behind too.
Yeah.
Which makes that even more kind of impressive to me. That he has that many.
Listen, and then on top of that, that basically means he has more knockout.
We're talking goals. Individual awards. You guys are talking about individual stats. My bad.
We just telling you the truth. You making it seem like it's like a night and day difference.
Yes, it is night and day.
No, it's not.
It's not a night and day difference.
If we're talking numbers, Lewandowski is taking it over.
Bro, you said Robert Lewandowski was third with 91 goals, and Karim Benzema literally has 88. That's 3 goals away. But, he could eclipse the brother this Champions League.
Lewandowski has the best Champions League goal besides Haaland now. But amongst the top 10, Lewandowski has the best. 0.8 goals per game. 8.2 per game. Benzema, 0.6 per game.
How many times?
I think you're looking too deep you're looking too deep
into the stats.
It's a stat, but we're talking individual stats.
Bro,
one player stats.
Lewandowski played on a team that ridiculously catered towards him as the main striker. It's not until recently, let's say last 2-3 years, even 2 years, because I mean, yeah, honestly, Ronaldo. Which one?
4 or 5 years ago.
3 years. I'll even say 3 years, right? You can do 4 if you like. But it wasn't until recently that you could say Benzema was the main guy in attack. So it catered towards him. And you can see the difference. He scored a ton of more goals consistently since Ronaldo has left. At some point, they were playing 3 strikers in one game. They were playing Ronaldo, Higuain, and Benzema in the same game. He had to share playing time with Higuain and goals with Higuain. That's my point. Lewandowski, every team he's been on, outside of, I don't know if he even played with Aubameyang, but outside of Dortmund, outside of Dortmund, which was basically about, what, you said about 10 years or whatever?
Yeah, almost 10 years.
He was the main striker. The only person he was competing against was Choupo-Moting. That's the point. The team catered towards him. Even Thomas Mueller changed his game, became a center attacking mid instead of an actual striker, so that he can actually pass the ball to Lewandowski.
He has never been a striker.
Thomas Mueller wasn't a striker?
He was always like a winger or a second striker. He's never been like the main striker.
That brother has been a center forward for Germany so many times. He was the top scorer for Germany.
He's not a striker. He's never been a striker.
Yes, he was. That's crazy. What is he then? What do you consider?
I think he was playing wing at first.
He was playing wing. You can't.
I'm saying, what do you consider Thomas Mueller then?
He's like an attacking mid / he's like an attacking mid.
Yeah. Well, for me, if I'm looking at what he did for Germany and the fact that he's the closest person to closest record, who's literally a striker, like I don't understand how you don't consider Thomas Mueller a center forward, at least for the big part of his career. It's not till recently that he's just outright a center attacking mid. Now he's changed his whole game, and he's literally supplies assists to Lewandowski. My overall point is the team catered towards Lewandowski as a striker. That was never really the case with Benzema when he was playing with the Ronaldos, the Higuains, and the other people that was there. He always struggled or had to fight for game time as a striker. So, yeah, the fact that he's only 3 goals away in the Champions League, then you look at all the other overall things that he's done. How can you come and say it's night and day between Benzema and Lewandowski? It should be a 89, 90, one thing away. That's it.
Nope.
How many things does Lewandowski do better than Benzema?
Score goals.
Outside of that, what? Thank you. What else?
Everything else you'd probably get
better hold up play. I'll say that. Better hold up play. Besides that, everything else Benzema can run. Yeah, Benzema's a better dribbler.
Better pass.
Better link up play, but he can hold the ball better. Lewandowski. Up top, that's it.
So it's a lot closer than you think.
Yeah, but we're talking career wise. We say who's the better player. So it's night and day. 91, 89.
Oh.
All right. All right. Let's move on to the next topic. This is a topic of Messi and Ronaldo. Did Messi and Ronaldo deserve every Ballon d'Or they have won? Toby, what do you think?
I mean, the answer is no. Let's be honest. The answer is no. I think because Messi and Ronaldo was so highly rated, and honestly, they were just a step above everybody else in terms of class. It created this like conundrum of choosing Messi or Ronaldo. It either had to be one had an off year and the other had a better year, rather than looking at the overall compass of every player in the world. So there was years where you seen people do trebles, literally win golden boots in their league, take their team to the Champions League final and win trophies in their domestic league, win trophies here and there, and not even get a shout or look in terms of being considered number one over those two. I want to say I want to say they deserve every Ballon d'Or. I would say they deserve most of their Ballon d'Ors for sure. But there was a good 1, 2 on both ends that could have been questionable for sure.
Yeah, I agree. You can look at the specific years of 2010, which is when Inter won. A lot of people wanted Snyder to win that year, and then you can look at 2013 when Bayern won the treble as well. A lot of people were looking at Ribery to win the Ballon d'Or that year. So like you can point out certain years that maybe Messi and Ronaldo didn't deserve it, but the fact is that those players are just so far ahead of everyone else that it just made it hard for people to look at other players and pay attention just because of what Messi and Ronaldo have been doing at such a consistent rate. So I think that's the major problem. And another problem is that when you look at a lot of the players that were vying for the Ballon d'Or title against Messi and Ronaldo, a lot of them played on teams where they necessarily weren't the main player or the best player. You know, when you look at, I'm going to use those two examples again. When you look at Inter, you can look at Snyder being the best player, but you can look at Milito being impactful on that team as well. You can look at Eto being impactful on that team. And when you look at Bayern, you can look at Ribery being impactful. You can look at Neuer. You can look at Robin, who scored the winner in the final of the Champions League too, as being the most. You know, Milito scored a brace in the final. So like, I think that's the problem for those players is they're never necessarily the out and out main player on their team, whereas Messi and Ronaldo are always the out and out best player on their team.
Best player. Yeah. And that actually speaks to the greatness of Messi and Ronaldo, because Barca and Real Madrid, they ain't short of stars. They were putting the other stars in their place. Yep. That's why I consider them elite, because they played among stars and was knocking in 60 to 90 goals in a calendar year. That's insane. Made Benzema look like a regular starter.
Yeah, making other superstars basically look like regular players, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. What do you think, Oswald?
To add on to that, I mean, honestly, they all deserved it. I'm sorry. They literally deserved it. What are we saying? We're just
nah, bro. Like, you have to consider stuff.
Listen,
bro.
Yes, if you can consider all those, all those trophies, individual award. I mean, the individual awards with their club teams. Schneider won Player of the Season in Serie A, all that. Took his team to the World Cup final. Yes, but Messi, come on. Messi had like 40-something goals.
Schneider deserved it, bro. Come on, dude. Took him to the World Cup final.
And what did they do?
It's the Champions League run.
What did they do? The World Cup final?
Once again, with the Snyder thing, with the Netherlands, you can't really say that Snyder took them to the World Cup final, because I could argue that Robin was better in that final World Cup final run too.
That's
the problem.
So Van Bronckhorst scored a screamer.
Okay.
But
my
point is,
let me play devil's advocate then. Since we're talking 2010, right? I'll say, Iniesta or Xavi deserved it. But we could say that. We could literally say all that.
What I'm basically mentioning is the fact that there was a common denominator on these teams. That's why I'm mentioning different tournaments. Now, if it was just Serie A, like you said, look, he won Serie A Player of the Year, meaning even on that team, even though there was a caliber of players that could have won the award, he stood out at least slightly apart to his other people. Then the fact that he did play a big part in the World Cup and then the Champions League run too. That's 3 different tournaments. Three different basically finals, bro. And he got nothing. He got nothing.
Look, that's the same argument that Jorginho can make, though. But we all know Jorginho was not the best player in the one. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, he won.
But he wasn't no Schneider to the.
He was doing the same thing that Schneider.
He was doing better. No, Schneider was doing more.
Schneider was
doing more, but it's basically the same thing, though.
I get where y'all coming from, but Jorginho to Chelsea, Schneider to those 3 teams. Like Schneider is 1 or 2 best players on those teams during that time. He was their 10s for every single team. Their 10s. Jorginho's what? Was he the best player for Chelsea in that Champions League? Or 1 or 2?
Conte was.
I'm saying, was he 1 or 2? Was he even top 3 best players on that Chelsea team?
I think
no. Come on, no. No. He's not top. No, he wasn't. He wasn't top 3 in Italy either. That's my point. He's not top 3. Verratti's Italy. He is not top 3 in Italy, bro. Come on, dog.
At that time,
no, he wasn't. No, he wasn't.
Time, he had an amazing season.
No, he wasn't.
He was good.
Yeah, he was scoring. Oh yeah, he was scoring a lot of goals that season. Scoring a lot of penalties.
He was just on the team, bro. He was just a common denominator that played well on the team. But in actuality, he's not top 3 in any of those 2 squads. Schneider was arguably number 1 or 2 in both that Inter squad and the Netherlands squad. That's my point. He either played second fiddle to Robin in that Netherlands squad, or he played second fiddle to Milito was crazy during that Champions League run. So he might have played second fiddle to him. But the point is, he was the guy. He was kind of at least one of the top 2-3 guys on that team. Jorginho, I don't think it was necessarily the same thing, but I get where y'all coming from. All I'm basically saying is that should be credited for when you are top 2 or top 3 in the team, because that means you're more than just a common denominator. You're kind of one of those guys on the team. That's all I'm saying. They deserve something. Like Ribéry is number 1 or 2 or 3 on that team. That's my point. And he won a treble. He should have won that. He should have won that.
Yeah. I would definitely look at those 2 years as the years that maybe they should have gave it to somebody else for sure.
Yeah, Roderick shouldn't have won his night, but hey, but
wow, what do you mean? On his teams too, bro.
I didn't know what that's up, but we gonna let it slide.
Wasn't it Messi that deserved it that season?
I think it was Ronaldo.
Oh, Ronaldo.
I'm pretty sure it was Ronaldo for that. Yeah,
it's because Modric carried a average Croatian side to the World Cup final.
That team was
not really average, bro.
They had Rakitic.
They had a squad, bro.
If you take Modric out of that team, they're not making it to the World Cup.
Bro, they had.
Not the final, but they're definitely shaking some things up. They're not a. They're not a.
Midfield could challenge any team in Europe. It's the top 5 best midfielders in that.
Man said shaking some things up.
They are.
What does that mean?
They might. They might be the quarters. Shoot, they might be the quarter. They could have got to the semis. You see Morocco. Honestly, compare Morocco to Croatia. They're kind of like on the same. Honestly, you can even say Croatia is slightly better with the names that they have on their team. That's the point. And Morocco got to the semi. Bro, Croatia had Rakitic,
Kovacic.
Keep going. Kramaric.
Kramaric.
Keep going.
What's that guy off of Tottenham? What's his name?
Perisic.
Perisic.
Yeah, they got a team, bro. Come on now.
They got a solid team. They
got a solid team, bro. You can't even name 5 people on Morocco.
Hakimi.
Amrabat. Wait.
Amrabat don't even start no more.
Amrabat wasn't he the one that was trying to sign a Barca?
Oh no! Oh, okay. That's the other. I think that's the brother. Yeah, that's the brother. The guy that plays for Fiorentina.
Yeah,
he's nice.
He got dubbed. Remember when he got dubbed right before he was gonna sign the Barca? Mm-hmm. Man, trying to force his way out to join Barcelona.
That's the point, bro. I mean, I'm not knocking Madrid for taking them to the finals, but they're not scrubs like people be slicing it. Like when you look at people like Ribery, their teams, what they did, like critical parts to every single competition they were in. The Pokal, the Bundesliga, Champions League. What else do you need? You look at Schneider's run, Champions League, Serie A, World Cup final. What else do you need to win a Ballon d'Or? That's what I'm saying, bro.
All right, let's move on to the next topic. So, who's the best passer of all time?
Man, it's an easy answer, bro.
Go ahead. Let's hear it.
Man, it's Mesut Ozil. It's Mesut Ozil. It is Mesut Ozil. That guy is one of the best creative passers you will ever see. Actually, the best creative passer we will probably ever see. He actually created like actual moves in terms of passing. The bounce pass, like that's critically acclaimed as something he started. So you look at the vision. The guy's nickname is called the Salamander, bruh. Because the guy can just be waving like this out the corner of his eye. You know how salamanders be? They just be calm out the corner of the eye. They'll see something. They're just quick with it. The passes was quick with it like that. It's like it's just coming out of his eyes like this. Like he just has eyes on the back of his head. If I know if it's salamander, chameleon. That's what they call those people. It's like he had eyes on the back of his head. He'd just be passing left, right, front, center. The guy was crazy with it. And then when you look at him in terms of what he did, when he was at a caliber team with good finishers at Real Madrid, Ozil was that assist guy. He was that guy. He was the best passer, best assist man in the world during that time, easily.
Anybody else have any other names I want to throw in the hat on that?
Mesut Ozil is a good shout. I can't really argue against
that. That's it, Xabi Alonso.
I would say Messi's up there.
Oh my God.
Wow, Messi's up there, bro.
Come on.
Bro. He has the most assists of all time.
Yeah, he has the most assists of all time, I think, recorded.
Yes, he does.
He does, actually.
I said
he does.
So what?
That means he's a pretty good passer, and he has an incredible passing range. But I'm gonna say De Bruyne.
Oh my God!
I'm gonna say De Bruyne, honestly. Like Mesut Ozil is a good shout for sure. I'm gonna say Messi's up there, but De Bruyne for me might be the best passer I've ever seen. He just can pass the ball so well. He just always finds the player in the right position, and like he's just been doing it at such a consistent level.
This is crazy, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna put De Bruyne in there, but Messi to me has incredible passing range as well, and he deserves.
That is crazy, bro. That is absolutely
crazy. I don't think there's no way you can't put De Bruyne in there in the conversation.
He's in the conversation for sure.
He's in the conversation, but like, what sets Mesut? Like, all of them have great ridiculous passing range. Like, you're talking about passing range. All of them have ridiculous passing range. Look at people like Xabi Alonso. To me, Xabi Alonso got better technique than De Bruyne in terms of passing. But at the end of the day, what I look at in terms of creativeness, just like finding a pass out of nowhere, just like seeing passes before they're done. Like David Silva is one of the most efficient passers you could ever see. But what I use to set people apart is exactly that. Making sure you pass to the player at the right time, making sure it's the best pass ever, and still doing it in a creative manner. Whereas you can pass left, you can pass right. The opposition don't even know where you're passing to, but at the end of the day, it still meets the player. Ozil is the best creative passer we've ever seen. I've seen De Bruyne do what he do with efficiency, but they're great crosses. They're like we talk about Mesut Ozil passing the ball outside of his foot. He might pass the ball bouncing. He might pass the ball with with his opposite right foot with a little trabona over. It'll be perfect every time. That's the type of creative range in terms of creativeness, in terms of passing that Ozil has exhibited. I don't really see that all the time from De Bruyne. He might have two of those in the whole season. But what he's best at is when he's technically efficient in terms of just regular crosses, regular passes. He does that so well. But like creativeness, oh man, it's Mesut Ozil all day, fam. Like,
I mean, creativeness, I'd say Messi's up there with Ozil though. Like even during Ozil's prime, Messi's assist stats were up there, and Messi does this. He basically does the same thing. He creates passing lanes all the time.
we talking about passing creatively. We're talking about passing like you don't even know the guy's gonna make.
That's not the question. That's the question isn't who's the best creative
I'm
passer.
saying that's
of
what
all
makes
time.
him the best passer of all time because they all have great passing range. Like, come on now. The best person that had, if we talking about passing range, the best person that has passing range is Xabi Alonso. Without a doubt.
Pirlo.
Or Pirlo.
That's what I was thinking about Pirlo. I was like,
that's my point.
Listen, man.
They all have passing range. What I consider different from everybody else is when you add creativeness to it. And Mesut Ozil was seeing passes before he even got to his. He was seeing passes before he even touched the goalkeeper, before he even tackled the ball. That's my point.
I mean, you can say that for a lot of players.
That's talking about Messi. Like Messi don't cut to his left and do that chip pass to the left side every time. Every time. He does that every time.
Mesut Ozil is the only creative passer, bro.
No, I didn't say that. Look at you. I didn't say that. I was saying that Mesut Ozil, that is his style. He does it on a ridiculous frequency. That every pass that he made it look like it was basically magical. That's my point. If you're talking about efficiency, if you're talking about passing range, everybody that we just mentioned has those. But what separates them from everybody else is creativeness. You want to put Messi up there? Cool. But Ozil is the king of creative passing. He is the king of creative passing.
I can't argue against Ozil too much.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, yeah. Like you said, Ozil, yeah, he's definitely the most creative passer. Some of those passes that I've seen from him, I'm just like, wow. Where did he see that space?
Nasty.
Where did he see that space? Like, who, how, and why does he even think that way? Just in terms of creativity, yes, Ozil. But in terms of like a player that can pick a pass out from any like a long range with accuracy, I think between Pirlo and Xabi Alonso. Pirlo, it takes it for me. I'm sorry, but Pirlo, oh my goodness, technique, long range passes, and he's almost as creative as all those guys that we just named. Kevin De Bruyne, yes, and your Mesut Ozil. He used to.
Oh my God.
He was close. He was on close there. This is Ozil right here. This is Pirlo right here. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Relax yourself, man. But to be honest, y'all, like it's easy, man. It's Ozil. But I had Kevin De Bruyne in between. But in terms of just all around best passer, it's hands down De Bruyne. creative in terms of creativity.
God!
Yes.
De Bruyne is finding you, bro. Like wherever.
Yes.
Like, that's the thing, bro. That man is getting it to you. The way his crosses be looking, it's just beautiful, bro.
So I'm telling you, those
You can't argue that,
Man
bro.
City fan,
Bro,
so.
I give.
We're talking about Toby and the Arsenal fan. Ozil was at Arsenal, bro.
Bro, I'm talking
Say the
about
same.
prime Ozil. I'm talking about prime. Even at Arsenal, he was crazy with the passes. I'm talking about prime Ozil, the red vapor Ozil, Mercury vapor Ozils, the purple number 10 Ozil. That's my point. Like, if we're talking about creativeness, it's Ozil hands down. If we're talking about efficiency, I'll give it to Kevin De Bruyne because he's one of the most efficient passers I've ever seen. It's a regular cross. It's a regular pass. It's a regular long ball over the top, but he does it so well. Efficiency, I'll give it to Kevin De Bruyne. Passing range, it's Xabi Alonso, or you could even argue Pirlo, but to me, it's Xabi Alonso to me. So, but Ozil, he has the same passing range. He has the same efficiency. What sets him apart from everybody else, and like outright sets him apart from those other guys, is what? Creativeness. So that means he must be the best passer. You telling me that Mesut Ozil don't got passing range? He does. You tell me Mesut Ozil don't have passing efficiency? Are you crazy, Mr. One Touch? Come. It is Mesut Ozil, man. Oh my goodness. Before Kevin De Bruyne was breaking records, doing assists, whatever, it was Mesut Ozil for years, being the top assist person in all the most competitive leagues. It was Mesut Ozil. So what are we talking about? And he did it on the biggest stages, just like how Kevin De Bruyne is trying to do now. That's my point. Number 10 at Real Madrid is not an easy feat. I want y'all to understand that. Y'all talking about Modric as number 10, right? Y'all talking about Modric as number 10. You tipping him up to be a Ballon d'Or winner, one of the greatest of all time. Ozil came in that joint, went from 23 to number 10 and put it on his back with all the other stars around him, bro.
Listen,
That says something.
De Bruyne would easily start in Madrid any day over Ozil.
Who'd you just say?
Oh, here
Kevin
we
De Bruyne would easily start at Madrid over Ozil any day.
Easily?
I don't know about that.
Easily.
Are we talking about prime?
I know. Just in their prime. Yeah, even in their prime.
I don't know about
I think that's false.
Ozil in his prime was
Listen, Kevin De Bruyne controls games.
So did Ozil, though.
So did
He
Ozil.
did not control
The only
games.
thing
The
only thing you can say in favor of De Bruyne is that Ozil was playing with Ronaldo and Benzema.
That's it.
That's literally
he was
it.
He was playing with players that fit the caliber in terms of his passing, so they could finish the passes he was making. But to sit here and say that Kevin De Bruyne isn't basically trying to copy Mesut Ozil's run. Mesut Ozil was doing what Kevin De Bruyne was doing at Real Madrid before Kevin De Bruyne. That's my point. How are you talking about easily? Where are you getting that from?
At their peak.
At their peak, Mesut Ozil was the best assist person in the world, just like Kevin De Bruyne. What are we saying? He had the record. He had the record before Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah, I don't know about that easily, bro. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
in fact, actually, Mesut Ozil has the most assists in a season ever.
Wasn't it Messi?
I mean, not ever in a Prem season, ever.
I think Kevin De Bruyne broke that record.
Nope. Kevin De Bruyne had 18. Mesut Ozil had 19 in 2015.
Nah, I think Henry has that record though.
Who?
Henry has that record. I think he got 22.
Nah, he doesn't.
You know, Messi has the record for La Liga, the most assists in La Liga.
Yeah, like 20.
20. I think he had like 22 or 23, and it was tied with Henry for one season. But yeah, easily is crazy though.
Yeah.
easily is nah.
No, it's not. It's really not.
Yes, it is.
Oh, what?
It really isn't.
Why do you keep on separating these players that are on similar playing fields? Like they're like
I guess night and day, bro.
It is night and day. I'm sorry.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that. It is Henry. It's Henry with 20. And then Kevin De Bruyne actually broke it last season.
Thank you.
But before Kevin De Bruyne, Mesut Ozil was there with 19.
Like I said,
that's the point.
When we do it better.
I mean, De Bruyne did break the record though.
But this is in the Prem though. This is in the Prem. This is just in the Prem.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Ozil
Prime Ozil was Real Madrid.
But okay, how many assists do you have in his prime? Definitely not 20.
It wasn't 20.
I could put money on that.
Yeah, it wasn't 20.
Hey.
That don't mean nothing though.
I mean, again, that's kind of stats, you know. Again,
yeah, that's stats.
But well, let's move on to the final topic. Should PSG sell Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe? And if so, what should be their new angle? Like their new direction for the team, for the club. Who wants to start?
Yeah, I'm gonna say they gotta sell. I say they gotta do a rehaul, man. I mean, they could keep Mbappe just because he's young, but he doesn't even want to stay at this point. So they should just sell all of them because Messi and Neymar are getting older. They need to just. I think the best way for them to move forward is just try to restructure their system around building from the youth and like really building a system that fits the club, not really like relying on excessive funds to pay for players to bring in players, because you're bringing in players to no system. They've switched coaches like I think like 4 times in the last 5 years. It's just like there's no continuity in the club. There's no system. There's no backbone, and you can't move forward and win significant titles, the Champions League namely, without that at your club. You have to start from somewhere, and they just try to skip the process of building up the club from the ground up and just buy players and bring them in and think that you just sign Messi and Neymar and you're going to win the Champions League, and that's not how it works.
Okay.
I think, honestly, yeah, bro. They need to blow it up. Call it a day, man. Just wrap it up. Honestly, PSG, before the Ibras and Cavani's and, the Lucases and the venture capital that they went into. Yeah, bro. They didn't even have the rights to Paris. They had to buy that too. Like, there's another team that was named Paris FC before them. So they should go back to what they were before, which was a French-based team, and like really focus on just catering towards their country, their community, because you have to build a repertoire in terms of like club heritage. Like you have to really build that. Like I would rather have seen PSG become a powerhouse in terms of honing French players, young French players, building them up and then selling them, than trying to be this club that just ran by money and power and just ridiculousness. Honestly, drama. If I'm being honest with you, they're probably the most dramatic team of all time. And then I would rather them build that up and then try to beat the people like your Lyons and your Marseilles, because that's where you really build your heritage as a football club, especially as a French football club. So I just feel like they went the wrong direction, and they went for glory a little too fast. Like paying 200 million plus for Neymar, just goes to show you where their plans were. They wanted to buy success immediately, and it just never worked out, because with success, you need players I mean, in order to get success, you need players that really believe in your project, that really feel like it's a heritage being at the club. And I feel everybody that's really stepped into that door since they started buying players, they there for the money. They there to, be individuals, and that's it. So when you look at that, you look at that formula, it usually doesn't equate to success. It equates to people that are individuals that just chase individual glory, that are just there to be brats and this and that. They got the best jerseys, the best facilities, and literally just win League On every single year just off the fact that you just buy everything. It's nothing there. Nothing there but expensive wear.
Yeah. They like, even to touch on what you two said, they have to find their identity, because they definitely don't have one right now. It's literally like you guys said. It's just they bought Neymar, they brought in Messi, and their whole thing is just to win a Champions League. That's their main goal.
Even after they win it, who cares? Like,
even after they win it, they still don't have like no identity. So they need to focus on that to be taken seriously. As a club, because no one takes them, seriously
at all. Like, even after if they would have won it this year, everybody would have said, yeah, they finally won it. But guess what? They had to buy 3 of the best players in the world to be able to get it at all. And like, you'll literally be like, finally, at least finally, you finally got your hands on it. You should have got this about 2, 3, 5 years ago. That's the point. So like, even after they win it, who cares? Nobody would care. Like, where's the heritage? I'm still gonna say they're not a bigger French club than a Marseille. Like, that's my point in terms of heritage, in terms of history. So I'm still gonna say that. That's my point. So when I look at their formula, I don't rate it at all, because it's just not it.
Listen. See, I don't blame them for wanting to buy the best players and getting all the best players. We have teams like Chelsea, Man City, who have successfully had, big spending and be successful in their club, in their league.
Big difference, bro.
There's a difference, yes, but they're trying to do the same thing those other teams are doing. Your Chelsea's and Man Cities.
When the difference is, when Chelsea and Man City got that big influx of money into their teams, they built a culture around the team. There were certain things they focused on for the team. And right now with Man City, it's the youth system in the women's league.
Mm-hmm.
They're focusing on.
And even when PSG went about it, bro, Man City and them, they were buying Craig Bellamy's and Koلاrovs and Brett Berry's. Like, bro, those are signings that you make just because you want to appeal to the community. Even if they had money, they spent the money the right way. They built up a repertoire with certain players. They weren't outright just buying Neymar and say, hey, I'm gonna put you with some random French guy.
Yeah, what are we talking? One of the hottest players at the time.
But PSG would never buy a Craig Bellamy. That's my point. They wouldn't buy a Brent Berry. They're not gonna buy a John.
No, okay, we're forgetting this, right? When PSG came on, they bought players like Pastore. Pastore was an up and coming player at the time. What are we talking? They did the same.
Is Pastore? That's the point. Is Pastore French?
He's not French.
Exactly. Bought Pastore was one of the
English either.
Brett Berry and Craig Bellamy are English.
He's not English. He's from Wales.
That's English.
He's not
That's
from
United Kingdom.
He's not from England. No, he's not from England.
You're talking about an Italian. You're comparing an Italian to somebody that's from Wales. Oh, sorry. You're comparing somebody that's Argentinian to somebody that's from Wales. Like, people from England are going to appeal to people from Wales. They were buying a bunch of English players. I could go through the list. That's what I'm saying. They bought. You will never see a PSG buying their equivalent to a Craig Bellamy and actually playing him and starting him. That's my point. At some point, Man City was just buying English players, and then at some point they started buying the foreign players like a Robinho and stuff like that. But like PSG, they went straight for Neymar. They went straight.
It took them time. What are we saying? Literally, let me show you their roster.
Ibrahimovic, Cavani. Please name me their French equivalent to a Craig Bellamy.
Let me see.
Or a Brent Barry that started and actually played there for
Jeremy Menez. Blaise Matuidi's an academy player. Alfonso Areola, he's still playing right now.
What?
Areola, French international. He won the World Cup.
Wait, he's in their academy.
Yeah, he was in their academy.
No, that's Craig Bellamy wasn't in Man City's academy, bro. Brent Barry came from Aston Villa, bro.
Jeremy Menez was bought to.
You already said Jeremy Menez.
Alfonso Areola.
Academy.
Zuma Kamara. Siaka Tiene. Let me show you their 2011 roster.
Bro, like, my point is made, fam. Like,
no, it's not.
Bro,
the thing we've been arguing is saying that after Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe are gone, what is PSG's mission statement? What is their identity as a club?
Nothing, bro.
Because PSG has always had some big star at their team that they spend bread on. So after they leave, Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe, what is their identity as a club?
They're gonna have to start off fresh. Get some modest, just above average players, not spend too much, like how they've been doing.
Exactly what we were saying.
But I still don't blame. I don't blame them. Like you see, when Chelsea came in, we just started signing a bunch of guys. Drogba, Lampard. Those guys.
I see what Oswald is saying though. Like it's kind of the same.
It's the same thing.
It's kind of the same mindset that those clubs had. The only difference is that PSG
did it better.
Did it at a way higher scale than Man City and Chelsea. They just spent way more money, pretty much.
Are you serious?
They spent way more money.
2004, when Chelsea signed a bunch of players, they signed
on individual players, not like multi.
Yeah,
they signed 3 or 4. I think like 4 people from Porto. What are we saying? Mourinho was the major signing.
Yeah, but PSG
he brought in 3 or 4 of his players.
PSG signed 1 player
for 222
more
million.
than all 4 of those players.
Times have changed. At the time, Mourinho
they changed. They are the ones that changed it, bro.
That's what I know. Listen, we can still say the same thing. Real Madrid messed up the transfer market in 2002 when Zidane came in for like 40 million, 46 million.
Bro,
no, bro.
It was like this man PSG. They gave Neymar about like 110 million pounds more than what the next closest person to him was.
And what you're not trying to understand is that all these teams spent money, yes, right? But when you look at Man City, when you look at Chelsea that you're even mentioning, they spent money on certain players that will build the repertoire for the club even better locally as a community. John Terry, Lampard that you're mentioning, right? Mm-hmm. Those are community lads. Those are lads that they probably spent 10, 15 million, maybe max, that they played alongside these other foreign players that they got. PSG went straight for the jugular. Yeah. But basically their whole team were superstars that they try to put together and say play on the same team. These guys that you're talking about, Man City, like I said, the Craig Bellamy's and the Brett Barrys of the world, bro. That's not the formula that PSG followed. They didn't go out there and get a bunch of French players, put them together, and then buy the odd 1, 2, or 3 foreign player and then add them to the squad. They went straight for the jugular. They said, shoot, Cavani here? Let's add Ibrahimovic. Shoot, Lucas, the next best Brazilian in the world. Let's go out and buy Lucas for 30, 50 million pounds. They were spending money crazy. All these teams had money, but PSG spent it wrongly.
All right.
That's all I'm telling you.
Let's talk about it, right? Let's talk about it, right? Look, they wanted to be part of the best They want to be one of the best teams in the world, right? And 2, the league that they're playing in is not the most appealing. So it was 2 times harder for them to attract those type of players. I'm not lying. You guys can all agree to this. We can all agree to this. It was twice as hard for them to attract those players. So they had to spend more than the other teams. The team like Chelsea, they didn't have to spend that kind of money compared to PSG. If Neymar was going to, let's say if Neymar was on the market at that age, 24, 25, he would not go for 200 mil. He probably could have gone for like 120, like 150 at the time, right? Max. That's what I'm saying. They had to overspend so they can be able to attract those type of players in their league.
But that's
and
why
we all know that.
That's why it's important to have different types of the way you could get to success. Like if you look at Italian teams, most of the players on those Italian teams, they're either, through the rankings or they're Italian. That's what I'm saying PSG should have done, because they weren't a team that even had serious historical background compared to the other 2 top dogs in the French league. They should have worked their way up in terms of getting to their stance first, building repertoire, building a heritage around the club, building a great environment so that any player that even comes there, they have to buy into the heritage of the club first rather than the other way around. It's like PSG are trying to convince the players that they buy to continue to play for the squad, continue to support my team. It should be the other way around. People should be going there and being like, I'm buying into a heritage. I'm happy to play for this club. And that goes to show you that PSG, even though they spent money in order to be the best, and you can't blame them for that, they still did it the wrong way, because they skipped the part where they had to build a good environment for the club that had serious heritage, so that players like Neymar and players like all the other people that they spent money on will come there not to be convinced of the project, but to be actually part of the project. They didn't do that. Any player that goes to Man City or Chelsea now, they're going to be like, this is my badge. Man City, that's me. Chelsea, that's me. They're going to be kissing the badge. PSG, bro, the players go there. They have to be convinced by the nice materials there, the nice gym, the nice jerseys, the nice pictures, and all the people that come up to them in the French magazines. It's like they have to be convinced to play there, bro. And that's what PSG did wrong. That's all we saying, bro. Heritage not there.
To each his own, man. Hey, let's agree to disagree.
I had to tell you what it is, bro. Like you making it seem like we blaming them for trying to get be the best in the world. Nah, we just saying they went about it the wrong way. That's all we saying. Because once Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe leave, who cares about PSG?
Yeah, they're gonna go back to what they were doing before.
Who cares, bro? I actually think they were a better team in terms of heritage when they had Cavani and Ibra.
I agree.
They just looked like more of a team to me, and that's because at least Cavani, he built up a repertoire with the fans. Ibrahim did the same thing, and you can at least see some type of integration in terms of heritage as a club. But now it's like 3 stars, everybody else is a supporting cast. Who's gonna buy into that? Please.
Now, on top of that, the stars don't even work for the team at all. They
don't want to be there.
Everybody else to do all the work, and then
Mbappe daydreaming about Real Madrid. Neymar daydreaming about being in Brazil celebrating with his sister, and then Messi is daydreaming about being back in Barcelona. They don't even want to be there, bro. Like Ibra and Cavani, they wanted to be there at least. Oh God, yeah.
So I think that's gonna wrap it up for us today. Of course, I want to thank everybody who watches us and who views us. Thank you for the crew, for their input today. Everybody, please drop us a comment on who you think is a better goal scorer between Benzema and Lewandowski. Also, please drop us a like and follow if you enjoyed the video. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter under the name The Offside Zone. Again, Thank you guys, and see you guys in the next video. Please stay safe, stay blessed, and enjoy your day.